Social grants have been increased twice in 2025, but here is the question now. Is there going to be any increase in 2026? Or maybe the better question is, what should we expect? Welcome and thank you for tuning in. In this video, we're diving deep into what hardworking South Africans who depend on South African Social Security Agency SASSA grants need to know heading into January 2026. With rising costs and economic uncertainty, many of you are asking, will there be another boost? And when exactly will the money hit my account? Today, we'll examine the official payment calendar for January 2026, the latest grant amounts, and what the government has said about future adjustments. We'll also explore the behind-the-scenes steps SASSA is taking, from technology upgrades to audits, to ensure the system remains clean and fair. So, whether you rely on the older person's grant, disability support, or you are a caregiver receiving children's grant, this video is for you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe now and click the bell so you never miss updates like this. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to expect your payment, how much, and what to watch out for in 2026. Let's go. Before we look ahead to January 2026, we need to pause for a moment and understand the year we've just come through. 2025 was not an ordinary year for social grants. In fact, it became one of the most significant years for beneficiaries because government introduced two separate increases, something South Africans have not seen in a long time. These increases were not by accident. They came as a response to rising food prices, transport costs, and the pressure many older persons, parents, and people living with disabilities felt every single month. Government made it clear the priority was to protect the most vulnerable from inflation that was hitting every household. But these increases also came with challenges. Treasury warned of tighter budgets, higher debt costs, and pressure on revenue collection. And that is why many South Africans are asking, will 2026 be the same, better, or more difficult? We also saw government take strong steps to clean up the system, including improving technology across social programs, tackling double dipping, and conducting annual audits to remove ghost workers and payroll irregularities. So, as we step into 2026, one thing is clear. Every decision will be influenced by the economic lessons of 2025. January is always an important month for grant beneficiaries, but January 2026 carries extra weight. Not only is it the first payout of a brand new year, it is also the period where households face the highest financial pressure: school reopening, new transport needs, food restocking after the festive season, and the usual start-of-year expenses that hit families hard. Add to this the uncertainty surrounding the 2026 national budget, where government will decide whether to continue with additional tax increases and whether the country can afford more grant adjustments. South Africans were told during the 2025 medium-term budget policy statement that a final decision about withdrawing 20 billion rand in proposed tax increases will only be announced in the 2026 budget speech. This signals that every cent is being carefully accounted for. At the same time, SARS received an additional 4 billion rand to strengthen debt collection, expected to improve revenue by 20 to 50 billion rand per year. All of this plays directly into what beneficiaries might expect in 2026. So yes, January 2026 isn't just another month. It's the month that sets the tone for the rest of the year, and many families are watching closely. As we look toward January 2026, one of the biggest factors shaping the future of social grants is the massive cleanup operation happening behind the scenes. And this part is important because it directly affects the stability of grant payments. Government has confirmed that they are using advanced technology to eliminate double dipping, people receiving more than one grant illegally or benefiting from two different government programs, such as the Community Works Program and social grants at the same time. This new verification system is already identifying irregularities faster than ever before. Added to this is the annual audit of ghost workers and payroll irregularities, ensuring that money goes only to real beneficiaries, not fake accounts or deceased individuals still listed on payrolls. These improvements protect the integrity of the system and help government redirect money to where it truly matters, your pocket. So why should this matter to you? Because the cleaner the system becomes, the stronger the case for stable and potentially better support in the future. Fraud takes money away from honest South Africans. Cleanup brings it back. So, when you hear discussions about 2026 expectations, remember, every improvement today helps secure tomorrow's payments. Before the January 2026 payment dates and amounts make sense, we need to understand the financial environment shaping these grants. South Africa's economic landscape has been tight, and Treasury has made it clear. We are in a period where every decision counts. During the 2025 medium-term budget policy statement, the Minister of Finance highlighted that South Africans will have to wait until the 2026 budget to know whether the proposed 20 billion rand in additional tax increases will be withdrawn. Why does this matter? Because these tax decisions influence how much room government has to adjust grants in the future. At the same time, SARS received an additional 4 billion rand to strengthen debt collection, expected to improve revenue by 20 to 50 billion rand per year. All of this plays directly into what beneficiaries might expect in 2026. So yes, January 2026 needs to be looked at as a context to what government can do with grant adjustments. Before we look ahead to January 2026, what did the 2025 increases reveal? Government made a deliberate decision to raise grants twice in 1 year. First early 2025, then again in October 2025, and these increases pushed some of the major grants to the following amounts. Older persons 60 to 74, 2,310 rand. Older persons 75 plus, 2,330 rand. Disability grant 2,310 rand. Care dependency grant 2,310 rand. War veterans grant 2,330 rand. In October, these amounts increased again by 10 rand across the board, bringing them to older persons 2,320 rand, 75 plus and war veterans 2,340 rand, disability and care dependency 2,320 rand. These figures have remained the official amounts up to and including January 2026 because no new increase has been announced yet. Now here's why this matters. These increases were described by government as above inflation, showing a strong commitment to cushioning vulnerable South Africans against rising costs. But it also means any future adjustment must be carefully balanced against fiscal limitations. As we move forward, keep this context in mind because it shapes everything we're about to unpack next. As we head into January 2026, one thing is clear. South Africans are feeling the pressure. Food prices have not gone down, transport costs continue to rise, and many households depend heavily on their SASSA grants to make it through each month. This reality is why so many people are asking, will we get any increase in 2026? Let's be honest, when everyday expenses increase, even a small difference in your grant matters. In 2025, government openly acknowledged the rising cost of living, which is why they introduced 2 increases. But with 2026 still financially uncertain, many families are watching every update closely. The worry is understandable. Pensioners are choosing between electricity and medication. Parents receiving children's grants are trying to stretch each rand to keep food on the table. People living with disabilities face extra expenses many don't see, from transport for hospital visits to daily care needs. This is why the January 2026 conversation is so important. It is not just about payment dates, it's about security, stability, and knowing that government will continue to stand with the most vulnerable. And yes, if you rely on these updates, don't forget to subscribe so you stay informed every month. Now, let's talk about the question many people are asking. Why hasn't government announced the new increase for 2026 yet? The answer lies in what the Minister of Finance explained during the 2025 MTBPS. South Africa must wait until the 2026 budget speech for a final decision on whether to withdraw the proposed 20 billion rand in tax increases. This decision will affect how much money government has available for social spending. In simple terms, government is not avoiding the issue, they are waiting for full financial clarity before promising anything they might not be able to deliver. Another factor is the progress of SARS's improved revenue collection. Remember, SARS received an extra 4 billion rand to enhance debt recovery, compliance checks and enforcement. If this system performs well and brings in between 20 and 50 billion rand more each year, it strengthens the case for future grant increases. But until Treasury sees final results, they must move carefully. Finally, with ongoing efforts to remove ghost beneficiaries and stop double dipping, government wants a clearer picture of the true cost of grants before announcing new adjustments. So, the delay doesn't mean there will be no increase. It means decisions will be based on real financial data, not guesswork. Now that we understand the background, let's talk about the part everyone is waiting for. What should South Africans expect as we move into early 2026? First, government has made no announcement of a new increase for January 2026. This means the amounts introduced after the October 2025 adjustments will remain the official payouts for now. These include 2,320 rand for older persons, 60 to 74, 2,340 rand for older persons, 75 plus, and war veterans, 2,320 rand for disability and care dependency. Children's grants remain at their adjusted levels. These values continue to be confirmed through SASSA's official schedules. Second, even though beneficiaries are hoping for another rise, the earliest any new increase can realistically be announced is in the 2026 budget speech, typically delivered in February. That is when Treasury will present the final revenue numbers, social spending priorities, and decisions about future grant adjustments. Third, beneficiaries can expect continued improvements in security, verification, and fraud prevention, meaning a safer system, fewer delays, and more accountability. So, as we enter January, the focus is on stability, confirmed payment dates, and preparing for whatever the 2026 budget may bring. Now that we've laid all the groundwork, let's finally get into the part so many people have been waiting patiently for. The official SASSA payment dates for January 2026 have been confirmed, and just like every year, SASSA is keeping the same predictable, reliable structure to help beneficiaries plan their month without confusion. Here are the official dates as published on the SASSA platforms. Older Persons Grant, Tuesday, 6th January 2026. Disability Grant, Wednesday, 7th January 2026. Children's Grants, Thursday, 8th January 2026. SASSA continues to process payments in this order to reduce congestion, ensure safe access at paypoints, and allow all the beneficiaries to collect without pressure or risk. This staggered system has proven effective for many years and remains unchanged for 2026. It's important to remember that once your money is released on these dates, it can appear in your account within hours. But for some banks, it may take slightly longer based on processing times. So if your money doesn't reflect immediately, don't panic. If this information is helpful so far, Remember to subscribe so you never miss verified updates like this, especially as we approach the crucial 2026 budget. Now that we know the dates, let's break down the exact amounts beneficiaries will receive in January 2026. These are not new increases, they are the same amounts implemented after the October 2025 adjustments, and they remain in effect until Treasury decides otherwise in the upcoming 2026 budget. Here is the breakdown. Older persons, 60 to 74, 2,320 Rand. Older persons, 75 plus, 2,340 Rand. Disability grant, 2,320 Rand. Care Dependency Grant, 2,320 Rand, War Veterans Grant, 2,340 Rand, Child Support Grant, existing amount as adjusted in 2025, Foster Child Grant, existing amount as adjusted in 2025. Grant in Aid also continues unchanged. These amounts reflect government's above-inflation increases during 2025, which were introduced to cushion South Africans as the cost of living climbed. While many are hoping for another increase in 2026, it is important to understand that no official announcement has been made yet. This means January payments will follow these exact values until the Minister of Finance presents the national picture in February 2026. If you depend on SASSA updates every month, kindly subscribe. It helps you stay ahead and never miss important news like this, especially as we approach the crucial 2026 budget. As we approach the rest of 2026, government has shared important signals that beneficiaries should pay attention to. These signals don't mean trouble, but they do mean we must stay informed. First, Treasury has emphasized that the country is in a period of tight budgeting. The decision on whether the proposed 20 billion Rand in tax increases will be withdrawn has not yet been made. That decision will shape how much room there is for future grant increases. Second, government is closely watching SARS's ability to increase revenue collection after receiving significant investment. If SARS performs strongly, it opens the door for better support in the future. But if revenue underperforms, Treasury must prioritize stability before adjustments. Third, government continues strengthening verification systems to eliminate fraud. This includes biometric checks, data matching across government programs, and removing ghost beneficiaries from the system. These cleanups help preserve money that can be redirected to genuine beneficiaries. So, while the system remains secure and payments remain stable, 2026 will be a year of financial caution. Beneficiaries are encouraged to stay up to date, keep track of announcements, and continue planning wisely. As we wrap up this detailed January 2026 guide, here's what every SASSA beneficiary needs to hear. You are not forgotten. The government may be moving carefully, but every decision is centered around keeping the most vulnerable supported during difficult times. January's payments are confirmed, the amounts remain stable, and while the next increase will only be revealed during the 2026 budget speech, the strong efforts to clean the system, improve revenue collection, and strengthen social protection show that government is preparing for long-term stability, not short-term promises. For older persons, the disabled, caregivers, and children depending on this support, your voice matters. Every improvement in the system, every audit, every technological upgrade is aimed at ensuring that the resources meant for you truly reach you. As we step into 2026, hold on to hope, hold on to the stability you already have, and stay informed because the next few months will shape the entire year. If this video has helped you, please subscribe, like, and share. Not for numbers, but so every family across South Africa receives the information they need. Thank you for watching, and may 2026 bring strength, support, and better days for every household. Till next time, bye!